Game of Thrones Season 7 Episode 6 Beyond the Wall was one of the best episodes yet in the series, and in this video we will break down and review all of the best moments from the episode, including the Night King killing Viserion. The episode starts off north of the wall, where we have our Fellowship of the Seven trying to find the mountain that's shaped like an arrowhead that we saw into the vision into the flames from the Hound. I really enjoyed the back and forth, the whinging between the characters, the reconnecting of Gendry with the Brotherhood, and of course the conversation about Brienne of Tarth between Tormund Giantsbane and the Hound. But the scene that struck me the most was the conversation between Jorah and Jon. We have to remember that Longclaw was passed down through generations in the Mormont family, and for Jon to offer it back to Jorah now that he's back in Westeros does make sense, but as we hear from the perspective of Jorah, Jon earned that sword as J.R. thought of Jon like his own son. However, that's not the part of the conversation that was the most interesting for me. The part that was the most interesting, where Jorah says that Jon could pass down the blade to his children, was for me direct foreshadowing. Jorah not only respects Jon a great deal, but he sees a future with Jon and Daenerys together, having children. Now, I know this seems like a typical, hey, Jon and Daenerys are going to have a child together because they will fall in love and it will be some sort of big fairy tale. I actually don't think it will end like that at all. I believe the situation will very much mirror how Jon's situation went, with one of them dying and the other having to take care of the child, much like Ned Stark did. I've always thought that they might get along, and we hear them both talk very respectfully about Jorah's father, J.R., but Jon, perhaps being the most honorable character in the series, wanted to honor the memory of J.R. Mormont. In the next scene, we see the two Stark sisters have a very tense conversation, and it's so interesting to see because they have survived these amazing series of events. They have become women, and Sansa and Arya will never be the same. Before the season started, people were saying that Sansa and Jon were going to be the rivalry, the Stark rivalry that we needed to watch for, and I never thought that would materialize, but I thought that there could perhaps be some tension between Arya and Sansa, as their perspectives or viewpoints don't match or mirror each other's. Despite Arya telling Sansa how it is that deep down she may want to become queen and want some power, I suspect that some of this is an act. Some of this is to show Littlefinger, who has been watching in the shadows, that he can further his agenda. Now, the reason I believe that this is happening, that the Stark girls are actually the ones setting up Littlefinger, is because of the scene later on in the episode where Arya hands the dagger to Sansa. She played the game the Wave played with her in the House of Black and White, as she saw fear in Sansa, not only because of Arya's collection of faces, which included Walder Frey's skin, but because she is genuinely afraid of being betrayed or being put in another situation that compromises her ability to speak freely or be safe. Arya sees that in this moment that Sansa's ambitions aren't to usurp Jon at all, which is why Arya hands the dagger to Sansa. This to me is confirmation that she trusts Sansa, and I believe in this moment is Arya giving her seal of approval to spill the beans on Littlefinger's betrayals and the order to execute Littlefinger at her command. Sansa also makes what looks to be like a dumb decision later on in the episode to send Brienne of Tarth away to King's Landing to meet with Cersei, but in this moment she's actually making herself appear weaker to Littlefinger by sending away Brienne, who is always close by Sansa's side. The moment that Arya nearly bested Brienne and the moment that Arya gave the dagger to Sansa was proof that Arya could protect her from Littlefinger. We even heard Sansa say that no one could protect her during Jon and Sansa's disagreement on how to handle the Battle of the Bastards. And her burning the letter makes it so Littlefinger doesn't get the info that he needs about this specific plan, putting two and two together that Arya and Sansa might be working together. The conversation between Tyrion and Daenerys was also very important, not just because of the lesson that Tyrion was trying to impart on her, that the world she wants to build will probably not be built in a single lifetime, but because of her remark about how heroes do stupid things and they die. It's ironic because later in the episode, we see her do something very heroic and contradict the very thing she said to Tyrion, and in the process suffer a great loss. But this goes back to the point that Jorah was making to Jon and what Tyrion is saying about the line of succession to Daenerys. If she dies, who will be there to see her vision through upon the realm? This to me is another direct piece of foreshadowing that Daenerys and Jon will create an heir and possibly even get married. In the next scene, we see Thoros of Myr get absolutely savaged by a polar bear wight as a direct result of Sandor seeing the undead bear on fire come towards him. The fire swords featured in this scene are absolutely epic, and I definitely like the lightsaber vibe they are giving off. It's pretty cool when Beric turns it on and off with his blood, but it's pretty safe to say that Beric doesn't have Dawn, but I do believe that Dawn will still play a crucial role in the endgame. However, after this, the group does continue on north to ambush the White Walker as they set a trap to grab a wight, and most interestingly, they find out when they kill a White Walker, the wights around it seem to deactivate, as the White Walker acts as an energy source for the wights to be reanimated. It is very interesting that there is still one less standing, and we find out later on from Beric the important information that the Night King turned them all, thus he has still the power over the majority of the wights and the White Walkers. But as we see, the Night King isn't far behind, and Jon sends Gendry to Eastwatch as they know they are about to be trapped and perhaps all killed by the Night King if they don't send for help to Daenerys and her dragons. Also, I just wanted to say this scene does confirm that Gendry doesn't die. There was a lot of theories about how he was going to die this episode after just being reintroduced. We know that he gives his hammer to Sandor, which he uses to great effect after they get trapped on the big rock in the middle of the icy lake. It's also very interesting to see all of the wights just fall into the water mindlessly like that, but also very interesting to see how intelligent the Night King is to wait them out watching over them on the mountain range, waiting for the lake to freeze over. I've always thought the Night King was intelligent, but this confirms to me that he is very strategic as well. And then we see what I talked about earlier come to fruition. Daenerys making an impulsive decision again. A heroic one to go save Jon, setting up one of the most epic, if not the most epic scene of the series. Unfortunately though, we do find Thoros of Myr dies from his wounds overnight. He freezes to death from the freezing cold, and unfortunately because of the impatience of Sandor throwing a rock at a wight, calling him a cunt, we see the battle begin preemptively. I really enjoyed this scene a great deal as we finally get to see all of the Fellowship battle beside each other while trying to protect the wight, basically like a game of keep away, but quickly they are overwhelmed and Tormund almost dies being pulled into the water, and we see Jon prepare himself for the final moments of the battle, and then boom, we get Daenerys against the White Walkers and the wights finally. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for the dragons to go north of the wall, and I have to say, wow, this scene in particular ranks in my top 3 favorite scenes of the whole series. We get to see Rhaegal, Viserion, and Drogon making fast work of the wights, but I know something's wrong because the Night King is just sitting back there, and oh my god, he grabs his ice spear and he kills Viserion like Zeus. I never thought that that would happen, but we do know that the playing field has to be balanced, and the Night King is definitely overpowered. Oh my god, I can't believe that actually just happened. I was just so amazed by that scene, and for the dragon's neck to basically just explode after he was immolating a bunch of wights below him was just amazing. But we do see him line up Drogon as well, and we see that Jon warns Daenerys to get the hell out of there because basically the Night King wants to kill Drogon as well, and he just barely misses killing Daenerys as well. But we see Jon falls into the water and Daenerys has to take off, and something really weird happens with Longclaw after Jon resurfaces from the water. Longclaw's eyes turn from white to black. There has to be a reason they showed this specifically as Jon surfaces from the cold water. I'm going to explore more of this in the theory video next week and why this is important. But nonetheless, we see the last stand of Benjen Colehand Stark saving Jon, putting him on his horse to be saved so he can reach Daenerys and co. Of course, we can't end the episode without the scene of Daenerys and Jon connecting in some way, possibly even romantically. And for Jon saying that he would bend the knee in this moment, submitting to Daenerys, and Daenerys asking him if she's worthy, to me signifies that she's having her kill the boy, let the man be born moment. I think it's very possible, despite Daenerys letting go of Jon's hand, she will let go of her dream to take the Iron Throne. I think if because of what she's seen beyond the wall and what she said now makes it very clear she is ready to be by Jon's side for the rest of the series. But the Night King obviously has other plans, everyone. He didn't just kill a dragon. He didn't just kill Viserion. He gets his wight to grab massive chains to bring Viserion from the water and to turn him into his mount. Oh my god, Westeros is absolutely screwed. They are in big trouble, and I gotta say, the wall is definitely gonna fall next episode. It is toast. Overall, the episode wasn't perfect, but it was one of my top 5 episodes of the series. There were so many great moments, including a few with my favorite character, Sandor Clegane, but my favorite moments, obviously, were definitely involving the battle with Daenerys, her dragons, and the Night King killing Viserion. My MVP of the episode was Sandor Clegane. He had so many awesome lines, like him telling Beric he'd rather never see him again, that he told Gendry he was whinging, but my favorite line of the episode obviously was when Sandor hit the White with a rock, calling him a cunt. You could also argue that the dragons were the MVPs of the episode, as without them, all the heroes would probably be toast. But let me know in the comments section who you thought the MVP of the episode was, and what your favorite moment of the episode was. Let's create an epic discussion. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be much appreciated as well. I'm going to set a goal of 1,000 likes for this video. And also make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on the wildfire bombs I'm going to be dropping in my upcoming videos. You can also check out my Patreon and become a member of our Wildfire Azor Hype community. I have some amazing rewards with special private live streams, early access to my videos, and channel news. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have an amazing Game of Thrones filled day. 7 blessings.
Fuck the king.
How much for your little plan?